Have you been struggling to develop a good character in your storybook? So perhaps you have a really great story outline, plot, and structure, but it's the character that's just not catching attention. And you're afraid it won't hold the attention of your young audience when it comes to time to publish your book. Okay, well, I have a solution for you. Today, I want to take you into my writing room and show you how I practice character development. I have a resource here in Picture Book Writing Exercises. Exercise number 3 is a fill in the blank character development exercise. It's a little bit different than what you'll find in my story builder template where we really build out a character. This one's more of an exercise that gets you thinking imaginatively about a character. It is still a fill in the blank. Let's go do it together. I've got my exercise 3 printed out here and ready to go. This is from my Picture Book Writing Exercises. And this is where we're going to fill in the blanks, choosing and building a character. And I'm excited to use this little character as an example so that it can ignite your imagination here with me today during this writing session. So it's really self-explanatory, but the reason that I want to do this here with you is that I do think that it's encouraging to spend some time with another writer and sort of see the process behind the scenes. So really what I do in this exercise is just fill in the blanks, but I do take time at each question, where there's an area to fill in, and really jog my imagination. And I think about options. And I think that's one of the important things when we're choosing our character is to really think about all the possibilities that this character holds from different angles. So my type of character is a little green bean. The main personality trait for this character is definitely curiosity. This might come later on as I fill in more, but this little bean is known for jumping. I don't know if that's a personality trait, but I'm going to put it here anyway. And I want you to see that there really aren't rules. You can kind of just let your imagination go with what you want to pour out on the page. So he's curiosity jumping, which leads me to think he's full of energy, tons of energy, life, happiness. He's a very happy little bean. Let's see here. He's kind of bold. I know what happens in my stories, so I know he's bold and full of life and happy. So flipping the page, his name and identity. So I have some ideas for my character's name. In fact, I have a list that I've been making elsewhere. I'm not going to put them here in this video for today. My little bean is about 8 years old. 8, maybe 10, between 8 to 10 years old. And the reason being is that I'm actually covertly writing about my own son at around that age and his love for jumping on the trampoline. So he was about 10 when this was happening, and he has the distinctive physical traits of, well, my character is a green bean. So tall and green and clearly a bean. And a cute little jumping bean. So his personality and temperament, I feel like I sort of covered this. Hopefully that question isn't redundant, but it says main personality trait, and I listed a bunch. So I should have put the main one here and then some other ones here. Their personality affects how they behave. Okay, so this one's important for me to really think about. So he's a little bean, he's full of energy, and I already know what's going to happen in the story. And his mom's going to ask him not to do his jumping in a certain place in case he breaks something. And he just can't help himself. So because he's full of energy, he's impulsive, and it leads him to be a little bit disobedient to his mama. So I'm going to just write that down here for myself. What are his hobbies? Now, in what you fill out for your storybook that you're working on, this could end up being really in-depth here, but for my little bean, it just jumps. It's jumping, jumping, jumping. So it's trampolining, it's anything he can jump on, the couch. He just loves to jump. So that is his one and only hobby that we're going to focus on. And so he's really good at getting height and maybe even doing flips. And maybe I'll even make it that he has little competitions with himself to, flip more times or something like that. His closest relationship in this story is going to be with his mom. He's going to really love his mom, and I actually don't have a lot of other supporting characters. So my story is going to happen mainly between Mama Bean and her little bean. And the little bean feels very safe and content in this relationship, and he doesn't want to let her down. I should fill in the blanks properly. He feels safe and content in this relationship because Mama Bean is there for him, and he really admires her. So they have a good relationship. In case you want to see, I'll just take a quick pause and show you here on my iPad that I do have a picture of hugging. Could be something I use towards the end of the story. And my kids, who are in their 20s, told me these look too much like jalapenos. So I've been working to get more like beans. Work in progress here. So that's just a side note. The environment and setting. Now this is tricky for me because part of me wants to keep it really simple and just give them a simple little cottage or townhouse with really modern day type of, like, it's clearly a trampoline and clearly a couch. And I'm leaning towards that. As an illustrator, I create whimsical characters in imaginary lands. And so part of me wants to make Mama Bean and Bean live in a mushroom house or like a pumpkin house or something along those lines. But I'm just going to say for now that they live in a cottage, and the setting is still going to have cozy. It's going to give cozy vibes. So like I'm thinking inside the house, there'll be floral wallpaper. Mama Bean is clearly a homemaker because part of what happens in the rising tension of this story ends up jumping where he shouldn't jump and breaks something special of his Mama Bean homemaker's, very special belonging. So it's going to be homey, and I will determine later as I develop the illustration what kind of cottage this will be, if I go super imaginary or a little bit more realistic. One way their environment influences their personality, well, I think what I need to do is give so many surfaces to jump on. So like soft, fun surfaces everywhere in the illustrations. Now, this is where you'll see that with writers, we really start feeding the illustration. And even if I wasn't my own illustrator, which I am, I would be feeding my illustrator word prompts and ideas without necessarily saying it. So I'd almost have to have a list for the illustrator of what I want to see. But I want their environment to be everything you want to jump on. So what do I call that? Bouncy. I want there to be soft surfaces. Biggest dream or fear? Well, I do need to say that I don't think this is going to apply to this particular story. But as you'll find out in my writing class, it's a free playlist here on YouTube called Writing Picture Books Class. I always encourage authors, writers to build more to the story than they're ever going to use so that you know your character inside out. So I'm still going to fill this in, even though I know it's not going to apply to the actual story that I'm writing. Biggest dream is going to be going to the jumping bean Olympics. He really wants to win a medal for being the highest in the world. Now, I also Not sure what his greatest fear would be in relation to his biggest dream, but I think maybe I would put in that his greatest fear would be actually to be a disappointment. And that's a big idea for a little person's book, but it is actually something that kids will relate to when I go and put it into the right words. And I know for sure he doesn't want to disappoint his mama bean. Okay, so now it's time for me to write the basic story of my character to bring to life a little scene or a little bit about that character. And that's step 3. I'm not going to show here in today's video. But this is what we would do next is we'd ask all those questions. How does our character's main personality trait influence their actions? How do they interact with their environment? What small conflict or challenge do they face? And how do they handle it? And that's what I'm going to fill in right now off camera. I hope you enjoyed joining in with me during this fill in the blank exercise 3 in my picture book writing exercises printable. So that's how I keep my character building skills sharp is I do the writing exercises that I've actually created for you all. And I've created these because I've personally needed them. I need to keep my skills sharp, especially in seasons when perhaps I'm busy doing something else like illustrating and I want to keep my skills on my toes. So I do the exercises in this book. And so today I had a lot of fun doing exercise 3 with you in character development. Check out the other exercises here on the channel. You can do these with or without my printable download, but you'll find my download is affordable. You can print it as many times as you want, or just keep reusing it, then doing the prompts in a journal, however best suits your practice. But check out both my story builder and the exercises. Check out the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and you'll find lots of other helpful videos here on this channel that focus both on writing and illustrating picture books. Until next time, picture book creators, happy writing.